Welcome to CLE Weekend. So this is Women's History Month, and who better to chat with than a woman empowering other women? I'm joined this morning by the president of Engage Cleveland, Ashley Vasilekin, and we're talking about all good things for our young professionals. So thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, first let's start with what is Engage Cleveland?
Engage Cleveland is a nonprofit organization focused on early to mid-career professionals, helping them to get acclimated to everything we have in the greater Cleveland area. Also helping employers and community engagement organizations here to attract, engage, and retain their young and early mid-career professionals as well.
And we know we got a lot of good stuff here in the Cleveland area. Let's talk specifically because this month coming up, you're hosting, what is it, your 8th annual?
Yep, Next Generation of Women event.
Ooh, okay, tell us about this.
Yeah, so this event was created because we were hearing from a lot of early to mid-career women that they were struggling as they started advancing both personally and professionally in their careers. So as they were becoming managers, they were starting to have some issues, some questions around work-life balance, managing their peers, on the home front, starting to raise families, how can I fit in my workday, plus taking care of my family at night, cooking dinner.
The list goes on and on, my goodness,
yes. So we created a forum half day where they can come together, hear from more experienced women who have been there, done that, and they can share the lessons learned and help to coach, inspire, mentor this next generation.
So if someone's watching this right now at home, maybe like a mom, a grandma, and they're like, my daughter fits into that category. I mean, talk to exactly who specifically this is geared towards in terms of age.
We like to think that our programs are very inclusive, open to anyone.
Great.
So if you're sitting here listening thinking, hey, that sounds like me, hey, that sounds like a friend, a colleague, please share the information, forward it along. We also want to encourage men to participate. If you work and you have a team that is all female and you're like, hey, I wonder what these women are saying, I could take that back to my team and maybe I could benefit, you're welcome to participate as well.
Oh, I love that. I love that there are so many people too that get involved, and sometimes it can be intimidating, right?
Absolutely.
Going into something, I don't care how confident you are, you're like, okay, I just need maybe a little push, and hearing from experienced people always makes things, I think, just a little bit softer and easier to, kind of dive into. Why do you feel this is so important, though, for these women to experience something like this?
So we know that a lot of women, as they start to rise in their careers, especially in certain industries, there's a mass exodus. So professional services are one, manufacturing is another. As they start to get into a certain point, they have to choose, and they choose between having a family and working. And we don't want them to have to make that choice. We like to think that they can have it all, that women, we've gotten to a point that you can have both a career and a family. And I think we have a lot of women in this community who have done that. They have shown that you can do both. And so hearing from them, hearing their stories, I think is very inspiring. I think people will leave saying, hey, if they did it, I can do it.
I think as a working mom, one thing I experience a lot is knowing that I'm not alone, right? You're not the only one, because there are those days where you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do it, but my mom will always say, you can, you're young, you can do it. Some of the events that you've had in previous years have been super successful. Tell us kind of about how those have gone.
We have found that the topics really matter. So we do a lot around work-life balance. So, really learning that you can have it all, maybe not all today. Maybe it's, more work one day, more life the next day, but figuring out what that balance looks like for you. It also may change. Your kids might need you more when they're younger, maybe not so much when they're older. You might have to drive more when they're younger. There's different aspects, and so we kind of talk a lot about the seasons and sort of changing. A lot of topics around imposter syndrome and what that means and how you can really push yourself forward. There's all different topics that really should resonate. How do you find a mentor? How do you find your tribe of women? Those women that maybe they're not formally mentoring you, but they're there for you and they're going to support and uplift you, both professionally and personally. You need that tribe at work that if you've dropped the ball in a project, they're going to help pick it up. They're going to pick up those pieces. But also personally, hey, I have to work late tonight. Who can pick up my kid from daycare or from practice or get them there? So we really talk a lot about how it's not just you, maybe in a spouse or significant other, but really how do you create that tribe? How do you create that atmosphere to really help you thrive? Because as they say, it takes a village.
It does. And it really resonates, I'm sure, with a lot of people is it's different stages in your lives. You're a carpool mom. You're like, I don't leave this car. I eat my dinner in the car. I watch videos in the car waiting for my kid to come home from practice.
Absolutely.
Or you're like me, who has a 3-year-old, and I'm like, come on, buddy, let's go take a bubble bath. You know, it just depends. So I love that you really hit all of those angles. Anyone who wants to get involved, wants to come to the event, what's the best way to get all that information?
Visit engagecleveland.org, click on Next Generation of Women, and all of the information is there for registration.
Ashley, thank you so much. I love talking to you because it just gives me this like resurgence of energy, like, hey, we can all do it. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll
Thanks
be
for
right
having
back
us.
on CLE Weekend.